Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chill Talk. How are you today, Albert?
I'm very well, Sophie. I'm looking forward to Labour weekend where we are going to be going camping.
It's going to be very fun.
It is going to be fun.
We've
been fortunate the weather's been very good the last few years, so we'll do it again. And also, we're going to do our runner-by-runner preview of the Cox Plate, which I'm looking forward to.
We shall, but to get to that, you must wait for a couple minutes while we talk about our horses. So,
Sounds good.
Last week we had North and South, who ran third in the Swayness Stakes.
Very, very happy with her. Another piece of black type for her at Weight for Age and group racing. Ridden slightly handier than normal, and unfortunately because of her draw we ended up in the worst part of the track. But she stuck on really well. She hadn't really had a lot of fast work leading into the race because she had a nocturnal leg the week before, so it was a brave effort. And we'll leave her in work now and see if the rain continues for another few weeks. And if it doesn't, she'll go to spell. But otherwise, we wouldn't mind having go another stakes race with her.
Sounds good. We also had No More Tears, who had an amazing race and ran sixth.
Yeah, really happy. She travelled beautifully in the ground. Michael Coleman said, "Man, she's back. She feels enormous. Just couldn't quicken in the really heavy going, but it'll bring her on well, and I think she's back. I'm pretty sure we've got her back, and she'll run on Melbourne Cup at Ellerslie now."
Awesome. And this week we have got 6 of our own runners, so we'll go on to that.
Shall we just first of all briefly discuss, sorry Sophie, I know we didn't discuss this beforehand, but our picks in the Caulfield Cup last week?
Okay, yes, go ahead, Albert.
Well, I think we did okay. Like, our top Picardicus failed. He travelled beautiful in the race. He was 3 wide, but loomed up but didn't run on. That was disappointing. But we did say Jamaica would run in the first 3. She won. We did say Scottish could win. He ran second. We said Exosphere we thought would improve for the run, and Melbourne Cup could be like a better race for him. And he did run like an improver. We also said Real Love would not run in the first 3, even though there'd been a stack of money for it. We were right about that. And we said the outside of the field 201 shot, Vega Valentina, would belie his odds and run well, and he did. So I think we give ourselves a 5 out of 10 for that, maybe a 6 out of 10.
5.5.
And we'll see if we can do better this week.
This week, starting on Friday night in Sydney, race 4, we have No Return, who's running, the 1550.
Yes, 1550 metres. It's
go.
a very international weekend.
It is.
With runners in Singapore and Australia and New Zealand on Monday. So No Return, very good fresh up win over 1550 metres. He appreciates further than this, but because he's gone so well and trained on so well, we decided to keep him at this distance. We can step him up later. All the good jockeys are in Melbourne, all the top jockeys have gone there, so we're fortunate to have Rory Hutchins on him. He's got a very awkward draw, 7 of 9, that can be difficult at Canterbury. So he's likely to maybe be 5th or 6th. And it's a stronger field than last time, but he has improved, and he's a definite each way chance. He can maintain a long sprint, so we might get going early on him. If there's no speed, he can loop them and lead or sit outside the leader. So he's a distinct each way chance on Friday night. He's going well.
Nice one. And second up, we're going to have Moonee Valley running in Melbourne on also Friday night. Oh my gosh, I've said that wrong. Have I said it wrong?
At midnight. No, you haven't. Moonee Valley, Friday night. It's perfect.
No, I think I said Moonee Valley was the horse. No,
No.
The horse is, let's rephrase that. Passing Shot is running in Moonee Valley in Melbourne on Friday night in the 1200.
Yeah, and he's long odds, but I'd have $1 each way on him. He's got the barrier we were looking for. We nominated him for Friday night and Saturday, 2 races options for him, and we've decided to go for the 1200 on the Friday night. We think it suits him better. He's got barrier 6, and all prep we've wanted him to be able to sit outside the leader, and he keeps drawing barrier 1. So on Friday night he can do that. He can sit outside the leader. He ran second at a jump out during the week, or last week, behind Japanisme, the Group 1 winner. Michael Walker sticks with him. A couple of little gear changes, which will assist him greatly, we believe. He's fit and well, his work's been good, and look, I think if he's going to find some form in Australia, I think it'll be Friday night. I can see him sitting outside the leader, and as long as he tries in the straight, I think at 50 to 1, think he's worth a few dollars each way. He's a real blowout smoky, and if he brings his best form, he can win. So he's an interesting runner, a really interesting runner. One thing against him is he does have top weight, which is tough. He has a big weight to carry, but he's done that before.
Third, we have got Chariots of Fire running in Singapore on Sunday the 23rd of October in race 2.
Probably our best winning chance for the weekend. He ran sub 110 last start when running second, just being nailed on the line. There were 3 lengths back to the third horse. He's improved since then. Vlad Jurek on board, sticks with him. The problem for us is he's drawn a little bit wide. We'd like to lead on him, but if we can't, he'll have to sit handy. Turf suits, very good winning chance. If there's another horse in the race paying less than him and his favourite, well, Quinell them, because it must be a pretty good horse. So he's probably our best winning chance of the weekend.
And also, same place, same day, same meeting, race 7, we've got Billy Mojo, and sorry if you can hear that noise.
It's a bus outside.
It is a bus.
Billy Mojo over 1,200 metres on Sunday on the poly track. Drawn barrier 6. He's got side winkers on, which he didn't have on last time, and that's a massive change because with side winkers on, he races a lot better. We'll be going forward, trying to lead or sit outside the leader. Certainly expect him to run significantly better than his first up run. The one thing against us is his weight. He's got to carry a big weight. He's carrying, 8 kilos, 6 to 8 kilos more than half the field. So that's a big thing. But we've got Vlad Jurek on board. Expect him to be handy and expect to see him improve. Difficult with such a big weight, but if he returns to the form he had in New Zealand, he'll be very competitive. And I think he's probably, I'm not saying he can't win, but I think he's probably going to be playing nice place money, and would expect to see him go better.
And on Monday, Te Rapa in race 4, we've got Seize the Moment in the Open Mile.
Yes, another horse carrying a big weight, 60 kilos. He was third fresh up. He's improved since then. He's tightened up. Coat looks great, but this isn't his finale. His finale, his big go, is his next start in the Copeland's Mile. So I've left the blinkers off him, and he's got a few lengths improvement still in him. He's still on the way up. So he's got the outside barrier, but he usually rolls forward. And I can see him running a nice race. Very tough for him to win with that weight. I can see him running a nice race, but to be honest, I'll be surprised if he wins on Monday with 60 kilos and the blinkers off, but I can certainly see him running somewhere between 2nd and 4th.
And finally, same place, same meeting, same day, but race 8, we've got Ivy's Gold.
And she won the first start of her campaign. She certainly deserves to win again. She's won at Te Rapa over a mile. Her last run was very good at Hastings in a $40,000 race. She was 3-4 wide the whole way, fought hard up the straight for 6th. The problem we've got is she's drawn barrier 15 again, 4-15s, which is she just can't draw a good barrier, so it makes it tough for her. I think we might, instead of going forward, might just ride a race on her wherever she's happy. Sam Weatherly rides, takes 3 kilos off her back, 54.5 kilos she'll carry, and if she gets a nice run, she's a distinct chance, but she's going to have to overcome that draw, and that's the issue.
And now it is time for our runner-by-runner review of the Cox Plate.
The greatest 2 minutes in sport, Sophie Bosma. It is an awesome race, and this year everyone's been talking about it as a match race between Winx and Hartnell, but I think there's a couple of other horses in there that have the potential anyway to maybe not win, but to run 2nd, 3rd, and I think there could be some very juicy place odds. So should we go through it, runner by runner?
We shall. First up, we've got Happy Trails.
Happy Trails has been a great horse. He's won $3.5 million, but he's now a 9-year-old. So he certainly deserves his place in the field. But it is hard to see him. I don't think he's going to run last, but it's hard to see him running in the first 4. the distance is no problem. He ran very well in the Queen Elizabeth last year, and this time, and look, his runs have been good. His run in the Maccabi Diva was good. His run in the Turnbull was also good, but you know, he's going to have to make. He was beaten 7.5 lengths behind Hartnell in the Turnbull. You know, so he's going to have to probably improve 10 lengths. Can't see that happening. Deserves his place in the field, but I think he'll be in the last 3 or 4. I don't think he'll run last, but I think he'll be towards the back.
Secondly, we have Black Heart Bart.
And look, Black Heart Bart, he's had a great camp. He's had a fantastic campaign. He's been tough, and you know, Winx beat him last start by just over 2 lengths, and which is no mean feat. It's closer than Hartnell's got to her so far in his career, I believe. Certainly, last time they met it was 3.5 lengths between Winx and Hartnell, and it was, you know, only 2.5 lengths between Black Heart Bart and Winx in the Caulfield Stakes. However, I suspect that he'll struggle at 2,000 metres. I know, as I've just said, he ran second to Winx in the Caulfield Stakes over 2,000 metres. It was a funny race. They jogged the first half and sprinted the last half, so it wasn't like a true 2,000 metres. I think he's probably more of a miler, 1,400 metre miler, and I think he'll be found out by that fact. High class horse, but I have him running in the back half of the field. Mm-hmm. 6th, 7th, 8th. I think there's other horses at longer odds that will run better, even though he's a very good horse.
Thirdly, we have Hartnell.
So the match race between Hartnell and Winx, so exciting. Absolutely top horse. But I can't see him winning. James McDonald's on board. Well, no, that's too hard to say. Of course he can win the race, but he's not my selection. And I'll tell you the reasons why. He's already raced against Winx this prep. She beat him by 3.5 lengths. His next couple of runs in the Chelmsford, I think he won by 8. Is that right? He won by 8? Yeah, 8. And he won the Hill Stakes by 6. But in both of those races, there were 6-horse fields, and he beat stayers. He beat Who Shot the Barman, he beat Graham Marshall, he beat horses that he had no other real competition in that race. He then came to the Turnbull, and he absolutely blew them away over 2,000 metres, and he beat Jamaica out of sight, and she's won the Caulfield Cup since. So he's certainly improved since the first time, you know, he's probably raced against Winx. But his form might be slightly misleading, and he's raced Winx 3 times, hasn't beaten her, and I can't see him turning the tables on her. He's a super horse. He's certainly, you know, right up near the top of my selections, but I don't think he'll win.
Mm-hmm. And fourth, we have got Hauraki.
Hauraki, who had such an exciting win in the Epsom, came from well back. I backed him, so I was rapt that he won. Obviously, Hartnell is Godolphin's top horse, and Hauraki is their second horse. You know, he's going from a handicap to weight for age. I suspect a mile's his best distance, and I suspect at 2,000 metres, he might not quite have the class of a couple of the others. I mean, he's obviously in the Cox Plate, so he's top class, but a couple of others of 2,000 metres might be slightly better. I can see him getting back, being ridden cold, and running past some, but hard to see him giving distance to some of the other horses and getting past them. So, not for me.
Mm-hmm. And number 5 is Happy Clapper.
So I think this is the surprise packet of the race. He's the outside of the field, I think, at $81. But he's a tough, good horse, this. You know, and he finished second last year in the Doncaster, and the only horse that beat him was Winx. And he got within 2 lengths of it, and he was flying at the finish. He ran third in the Queen Elizabeth, which is worth $1 million and a half more than the Cox Plate behind Vega Valentina, again storming home. This time in, he's been good. He's been good this time in. And his last start in the Epsom, I know Hauraki beat him, so it sounds a bit funny, but he sort of didn't get all luck, and he got out late, and he still got within half a length of Hauraki. I don't think he has any problem with 2,000 metres. I think $10 a place, and he'll probably pay more, isn't bad money, and he's my blowout, not to win the race, but he's my blowout to lob into a place somewhere. And I might have a few dollars to place him. I'll certainly have him for third and fourth in my multiples. So that's probably my surprise pick.
And the next one, number 6. I'm sorry if I say this wrong, but
Vadamos. So this horse here, I think he's been well spruiked because he is the unknown quantity. He's come over from France, so we can't really line him up against Winx and Hartnell. People don't know where to put him. Therefore, he's been well backed because we can't see anything else. A lot of people can't see anything else maybe betting those two home. And I think that's why he's been well spruiked. But I don't know if he's got excellent form. He's got a great winning record, but I don't know if his form was as good as Highland Real was last year, who ran third in the race, who was an import. And that being the case, Highland Real couldn't beat Winx, and Silent Achiever also beat Highland Real. So that puts a little doubt in my mind about whether or not he can beat those horses. I think he probably can't. He has Joe Moreira, possibly the best jockey in the world. It's either him or Hugh Bowman, in my opinion, are the best jockeys in the world. And James McDonald is top 3 as well. They're the top three, I think. But Joe Moreira he's unbelievable what he can do on a horse. He can lift horses. But from my understanding of the form comparisons, if he's behind Highland Real, I don't think he can win it. And so, therefore, I've got him out of my selections, my top 3 or 4 selections.
Number 7 is...
I'm prepared to risk him at the price.
Number 7 is Awesome Rock.
Look, I can't have this horse. He's a good horse. He's won $760,000. He ran 5th behind He's Rocky in the handicap Turak last start. Blackheart Bart beat him out of sight in the, well, not out of sight, but by 3.5 lengths start before in the Underwood. I think they're going to go forward and lead. He'd probably set up a nice pace, but I think he'll be at the back of the field. I couldn't pick him, couldn't have him.
Number 8 is Winx.
So Winx, so I need to say that this time last year, we had a betting syndicate and we put all our money on Winx in the Cox Plate, and we had about 3 or 4 emails from people telling us we were fools, and then she won by, not the length of the straight, but she absolutely smashed them, and she's been unbeaten since. She's a champion. She's a champion horse, champion jockey, Hugh Bowman, champion trainer, Chris Waller. She ran just over 55 seconds for her last 1,000 metres in the Caulfield Stakes. Her work this week at Moonee Valley was sensational. Hartnell's raced it 3 times, hasn't beaten her. Last time they met earlier this season, she beat him by 3.5 lengths. I think $2 is unbelievable money for her. I think it's great money. No, very good field, and she can be beaten. Maybe 9 times out of 10 she wins, 1 time out of 10 she doesn't if she has bad luck or something goes wrong the day, but I think she's a super bet and I think she wins. Champion horse wins. No. Champions win Cox Plates, and she's a champion.
Number 9 is Chia Valentina.
Lucia Valentina, possibly slightly forgotten about. Very, very good horse. If there was, if 2 horses, if Hartnell and Winx were watching each other and got unlucky and they made it a match race and they forgot about everyone else, this is the horse that could beat them all. She's such a top mare. She won the Queen Elizabeth last year, blew them away in that. She ran 4th of 7th to Winx first up, 2nd up behind Blackheart Bar. She was storming home. She's peaking at the right time. She's been set for this race. She certainly can run in the first 3 or 4, and as I say, she is a horse that is very good. If something's wrong with the others or they play their own games and they forget about her, she is one that could get up and win. Saying that, I haven't picked her to run first, but she's definitely in my picks.
And finally, number 10, Yankee Rose.
Yankee Rose, great to have a 3-year-old filly in there, only carries 47.5 kilos, so...
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, it's unusually pretty light.
So you know, she gets in so well at the scale, doesn't she?
10 kilos lighter than most of them.
Yeah.
At least 10.
Yes, and she won over 2,000 metres last start and won very well. But look, this is a step up on the horses she's been racing against. So while she gets the 10 kilos, she'll need all of that. She'll get barrier 1, so she should get a soft run and transit. But I just think at this stage of her career, against what is, I think, an outstanding Cox Plate field, I couldn't have her, so I do not have her in my first 4.
So, and mentioning that, what are your first 4?
So my picks are, I've gone Winx to win, for obvious reasons, she's a champion. Hartnell, I have picked him for 2nd. Great match race, and you know, I hope it is a good match race, and the two of them do fight it out. I'd love to see that. I've got Happy Clapper for 3rd at 80-1. I think he is the blowout horse, and Lucia Valentina for 4th, who could beat them all if they muck around. So Winx to win, Hartnell 2nd, Happy Clapper 3rd, Lucia Valentina 4th. They're my top 4, and we'll see how we get on this week, Sophie.
We shall see.
And we'll have a couple of bets. And I will close by saying, I think on Monday at Te Rapa, Mongolian Falcon in the Sartan, the way he won last start, I think it's a good field, and people may hold off him a little bit to see whether it was a fluke or not. I'd be backing him. If he's paying $2.50, $3, I'd be putting some money on.
Nice one. And that concludes Shoot Talk.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Albert.
And we'll be back next week.
On Shoot Talk.
Bye.
See ya.